This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. You know that province nobody knows about. That's right. And here we are, August the 15th, 2022, and I have a returning guest. A guy that well, we kind of have the same viewpoint on a lot of stuff going on in the indie horror world. He's a lot more vocal about it than I am, although I'm definitely feeling it. Folks, I give you the Bruins guy himself, Rob Mahoney. How do you do, Rob?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you doing, man?
Well, we're you having quite the year. You got a new job. I got a new job about back in March, and we seem to be doing better that way, you know. And got to show this off.
Yep.
Yes, folks. Rob Mahoney is an executive producer on this film. It's Social Distance. Well, it goes by, what's it, Seventh Revelation now?
Yeah, it's Seventh of Revelation now. I think it's because the term social distance kind of got overused a lot. And I think people are just sick of the word. So, Brian decided to rebrand it and now it's Seventh Revelation.
I don't know. I like Social Distance. It's right on there. Right on there.
Well,
But nonetheless,
I still have the poster of the social distance in the background there.
there you go.
So
No, and I'm of course a co-producer on this one, and I've had a few people on from this. I had the director himself, Brian Barsukula. Am I getting that wrong?
but it's close enough. Brian Basuglia.
I had him on. I didn't get him on this year, but I've had him on last year, and I've had Vernon Wells on a couple times. And of course, I had met Vernon at Horrorama 5 years ago and gave me his card, and yeah, he still even remembered me on the second time. So there we go. There we go. Yeah,
Nice.
I gotta be frank. I wasn't expecting a whole lot when I watched this. I got it because I supported it. Because I've seen a few of these kind of movies done on, and I don't want to down crowdfunding, but I've seen a few of those movies that look like dog shit.
Yep.
This isn't one of them. I was actually really freaking impressed with how well this turned out. Very well impressed. Even not just Vernon Wells doing a great job in it. The rest of the cast did a great job in it too. Even our old buddy Noelle Berger.
Yeah, from head to toe, pretty much everybody did an exemplary job. I mean, it turned out much better than I think anyone even expected.
Mm-hmm.
And it did get some cinema play out in California,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's actually streaming right now on Tubi. You could actually watch it on Tubi.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because of course it's all done on screen, you know, social distance, you know, and yet it was never boring. You know, man, and the reason I think one of the big reasons why is because the cast and the characters they play are very engaging. We get,
Yes.
yeah, we get wound up in their stories and whatnot. So, yeah, kudos to Brian for making this, and I kind of regret not getting involved with the Electric Man and whatever else he's got involved with. But
Well, Amber Road is finishing up production right now.
yeah,
And the newest one he has is The Horror We Make. It's a documentary about like how some of these actors that we've grown to love got into horror and the importance of the the beginnings of horror. Like that, we're going to talk all about like 30s, 40s, and 50s up till the current state of horror. So, and Reggie Bannister from Phantasm is involved in this project too.
yeah, but there lies the issue with me, you see, because I reached out to have him on here last year, and I know he's dealing with was it Parkinson's that he's
Yes, he
dealing
has.
with?
Yes, he has Parkinson's.
Yeah, and I reached out, and his wife responded, and we had a phone conversation that was very promising. And anyway, long story short, it didn't end up working out, and what can I say? I don't want to get into it in too much detail. I know that due to I don't pay for interviews, but
Yeah,
and they weren't asking me to pay for an interview. They wanted to use the money to go towards um whatever there's a Parkinson's that was on the tip of my tongue, but wanted to use the money towards that, and I was fine with that, and they weren't charging an extravagant amount. So I said sure, and I PayPal'd the money. The problem is I didn't know it was refunded because I never got any email from PayPal saying it was, but I guess his I we end up canceling once because his condition was getting worse, and which is understandable. But due to the fact that I did not get a notification on the PayPal refund, I messaged twice and then get an email from her explain the situation and tell me not to contact them again. So I'm like, okay. I wish I had a known that through an indication from PayPal, but I did not. And the only reason I found it through PayPal is because um, I donated to a charity of somebody else who was doing the Doubtfire challenge, and that was the only way I found out.
yeah,
So, needless to say, I won't reach out to him again. I won't bother him, but I'm a little pissed off about that whole thing, and so I don't wish any ill will towards Reggie Bannister, but at the same token, I don't like the hand I was dealt with there. So
yeah,
yeah, but anyway, I hope the project goes well as far as Brian and yourself goes. So
yeah.
yeah.
And there's some returning people from other movies that Brian's done. Jed Rowan's gonna be back in it. Rachel Riley, they were both in Seventh Revelation. Tasha Dakosa, they're all three of those are returning from that because Brian has a very loyal following with his casting crew, and that's why I've been along with pretty much all the projects. He has another one coming out after this. I don't know much of the details. I just know it's going to be a Herbert West Reanimator.
Okay.
It's gonna be like basically a TV series about Herbert West. So, but I'll know more about that as it goes on because it's not even in pre-production yet. So
Okay. Okay. Well, it's interesting because we've had our differences in the past, and we're able to mend fences, and we have a lot of common ground, and
yeah,
yeah, and it's funny because between you and myself, and I'd say particularly you, there's a lot of attacks come on us, but I say more you than me.
oh, I mean, yeah, I'll agree with that. But you know what? I never have been able to shut my mouth, and sometimes it works out, and then other times it doesn't. But I can't stand quietly when I see something wrong.
Nope.
So, and I'm gonna let it known whether I get love or hate. On my because I do it on my YouTube channel, and hey, if even if they hate it, even if they give me a thumbs down, they give me a nasty comment. To me, that's all algorithms.
Mhm.
It's they're helping my channel. So
Yeah. Because I know that, and this is one thing I see in you too. Because I know there was a situation, and some people know the film, but I'm not going to name it because I'm trying to heal that. But I am going to bring it up here. A situation involving screenshots behind my back, and that were about me by other people, and an NDA chat group, which I thought was a bit of a joke, but nonetheless, when that did happen, when I became aware of it, the first person I thought of to bring this up to was you, because I knew you would stand up on my behalf, because I
yeah,
felt attacked.
yeah. I mean, the way that everything was approached on the other end was very poorly done and very what's the word, disrespectful. I'm going to go with disrespectful because I want to say other things, but like you know, I've had their beef with them. You've had their beef with them. I'd rather just let them go on their merry way. But you know what? It could have been handled a hell of a lot better. And if it had been held done better, then we probably wouldn't be talking about it right now. Maybe everything would be all on the up and up with everybody. But the way they handled it, that it probably will never be on the up and up with some of the people over at that camp.
You know what's funny? Um, and I got an email from the director in response saying that nothing was canceled because of me. But it was thrown my way that a screening of a particular film was canceled because of my actions. And it's
Yeah,
funny, I sent you a video of where that screening was, and they were there, and there was a big screen behind them. I didn't
yeah,
watch the video, but I was like, "Are they fucking kidding me?" You know? And it's funny because one of the people that I tried to get back on my show for a third time, who went with this whole my actions scenario, was there.
yeah. Same person that told you that these screenings were being canceled. So
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, whatever, and so but I think it was all over. A suicide and depression challenge, which I scaled back on a little bit because I'm getting tired of donating to people's charities and not getting the response back where people actually do their part. And I've been screwed that on that end more than once. And
yeah,
I don't get it, and I don't think it's anything for them to, anybody for that matter, to be proud of. I've always upheld my end.
yeah,
So I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of scaling back on it, but I know one of the producers of said film, who will remain nameless, was telling me I could have celebrities get on there from my show and do a little thing where they talk about suicide and depression. And I'm like, fuck that.
yeah,
Fuck that lazy fucking shit. I could get up on there and probably video get canceled nonetheless, but I could spread my ass cheeks too, and it would probably be more entertaining to engage in, than a bunch of people about
yeah,
getting on there and putting on a performance going, "Oh, please don't take your life. Oh,
yeah.
reach out to somebody." Like, fuck that. I wouldn't watch that regardless who was saying it, you
Hey, I
know?
did it. I did the challenge. So
Yep. But I've had a few screw me over on it. And I'm not just talking this film, I'm talking about others as well. So I'm like, they must be proud of themselves because it doesn't take much to get a paper plate and whipped cream and take a pie in the face. it comes down to this. I'm viewed as a nobody, and that's exactly what they're doing, and they're not admitting they're doing it, you know?
And they
So,
and they won't and they won't either.
nope. So, anyway, but I remember that producer said that, "This could affect celebrities coming on your show." Well, I've done over 120 interviews this year. My record's 144, so he could stick that comment up his ass.
I mean, yeah, another month and you're past it already.
Yep, but, nonetheless, I'm happy to have been involved with said film. Um, I promised I wouldn't, trash talk it anymore, but, I do know said producer of the film, or one of the producers, and now you know who I'm talking about, seems to still run his mouth about me behind my back because I'm still hearing about it.
Yeah, well, they don't know when to, when to say when. So
Yeah, yeah, but anyway, whatever. And I tried to mend the fence, and but that comes into play of one of the things that we're going to talk about here. You're really the voice of people that need a voice, you know,
I,
and
I'm gonna steal CM Punk's name, the voice of the voiceless.
mm-hmm.
I'm the indie horror version of that.
CM Punk was awesome. He's the one that
Yes.
told Triple H, "I don't need to wrestle you. You need to wrestle me."
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I agree. CM Punk is perfect example. But even getting away from any project I was involved in, there's been other projects in the indie film world, and I'm not going to get into naming any names. Um, but here's one thing that I will say. I and I wish people would just go out and make their movie. Make
Yep.
their movie. Oh, leave the drama out of it.
Yep.
Promote your film, but I say, do a couple podcasts or whatnot to give awareness of your social media and your crowdfunding. Then
Yep.
go make your movie. Make your movie, then
Well,
come back and promote it.
well, this is the thing I'll say about what, and I know what films you're referring to, but I've already said my piece with those films. I'll just name them nameless right now. But I will say that not one of them knows how to promote at all. I've watched their Facebook lives. They're talking about football and they're talking about drinking and they're talking about everything but their film. And yeah, that's okay once in a while to soar off subject, but not the entire life. Like people want to invest in a movie that they're gonna know what's going on. They're gonna want to know, hey, have you got this yet? Have you cast this certain character yet? How's the production going? Give us updates. Don't give us what fucking football game you're watching. Don't give us uh what you're drinking today. What girls you're like molesting in their DMs. We don't want to know about that. We want to know about the film. That's how you get it funded. That's why a certain project that will be named unnamed, it took four efforts for it to get funded. And on the fourth effort, it was because of promoters like myself, Amy Crabtree, and yes, I will even say Jimmy Presley. Me and Jimmy are on a different level right now, but that's a different story. But if it wasn't for promoters, that project I'm referring to would have never made its in demand because the director is a dipshit and doesn't know how to promote his ass. So
And I'm going to say this. Some of these, like Social distance turned out well. And by the way, for anybody that no, it didn't turn out well because I was a co-producer. I wasn't on set. I donated money. The evidence is on the screen, you know. Brian made a terrific film here. He impressed me, you know. I'm gonna say another one that turned out well too was Reunion from Hell, Hayden Newman's film.
Yeah.
I was like, I liked it. I was like, okay, you got me, you know. I like to see them actually go out and make some. I don't know how many of these projects I hear about where you don't see a finished product, and
Yeah.
it's almost constant.
Yeah. There's been a bunch of movies like that, and some of them actually had a lot of promise. There was a movie. I will just use the first letter. It starts with S. That had a lot of promise. I was really jacked up for this movie. I was promoting the hell out of it until I found out what kind of dipshit was running the film. And it seems like I joke about this with some of the people in the horror community. It's called the first director curse. There's been five directors within the last year and a half that have had really good idea projects, and not one of them has got made or got to post production yet. None of them. Four of them have fallen apart completely. One is sputtering away still after 3 years, is still sitting basically in limbo. And all of them had first time directors who basically have a lot of ambition, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to get their film promoted, and they end up pissing off people like myself. And I will be your best friend if you are straight with me, if you're showing that you're gonna make this movie. As soon as I see shit going on where we're not giving updates, we're not letting our investors, because believe this is the God's honest truth. Without the people, even the people who were donating $5 or people who are donating thousands of dollars, without everybody's help, that movie is not going to get made. So the best thing you need to do is to let all your investors know, the $3,000 people all the way to the $5 people, what's going on with your fucking movie. Because when people see no updates, that's when they're gonna start questioning, what did we get involved in? And you're gonna lose good people. There's been a lot of great actors and actresses and people behind the scenes that have put lots of time and effort in these projects just to find out, hey, guess what? There's not a project now.
And you know what's worse is when you actually manage to get some name talent involved. You know, like I know there's been a project or two Felissa Rose of Sleepaway Camp was involved with, you know,
Yes.
and Tamara Glenn from Halloween 5, and there've been a few others. When you get people like that that agree to do your movie, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Don't fuck it up,
Yep.
you know? And I often say to a lot of these people, if first off, they need to scout around, because if they can get at least one name in their movie, they're ahead of the game. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. John Carpenter's Halloween. Everybody in that movie was an unknown except for Donald Pleasant.
Yeah.
Everybody else was an unknown. Donald Pleasance, of course, played the Dr. Evil bad guy in one of the James Bond movies that Sean Connery was in. He was
Yes,
in
he did.
THX 1138, George Lucas film. He was somebody that was out there who's done some stuff. So the fact that John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were able to bring him in, that was a plus, you know.
Yeah.
They were able to get that was able to allow that movie to get made because people had faith in that performer. And I often said too, Star Wars. You know, nobody knew, like, Harrison Ford was not a household name, or Mark Hamill. The one of the things that helped that film, you had Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Yep, an Oscar winner. Didn't hurt to have Peter Cushing in there as well, but Alec Guinness, he was, people took that seriously
Yeah.
because of his track record, yeah. So, and in Friday the 13th, to a lesser degree, because Betsy Palmer was kind of out of the business since the 50s, but they got her in the movie, and, they had somebody. What I would recommend a lot of people do is see if they can scout around. If they got something. I wouldn't say don't give them a humongously big role, because you could be shortchanging yourself. You
Yeah.
don't want to spend a tremendous amount of money, because you do have to pay them. But you can get more bang for your buck if you plan carefully.
Yeah.
And I would recommend people research what the prices of some of these people are, because some of them, although none of them are what you call cheap, some of them for a film standpoint are affordable,
Yeah.
are affordable, are doable. Vernon Wells
Yeah.
was in this. I don't know what Vernon Wells' asking price is, but yeah, Vernon Wells. He had Tom Sizemore in The Electric Man,
Yeah.
and Vernon Wells. So I
Yeah.
mean, so he's able to, and again, I don't know what their asking price is, but he was able to bring them in, and then bring in your other cast members to fill out the larger roles.
Yep.
And here's the next thing I recommend people do. Since unless you're lucky and you get somebody that's got the skill of a, say, Tom Savini, because you're not going to get huge special effects on a low budget, but you
Yeah.
can get somebody that can do makeup effects, practical makeup effects.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I often would tell people to do. Look at what's your locations are in your script or your screenplay, and mark down how many locations you need, and find the most interesting places to shoot it, and B, use lighting to your advantage in shooting it.
Yeah.
Like, you think the camp for Friday the 13th was anything interesting? No, but it was made ominous, especially during the nighttime scenes. They made good use of light, especially with those hanging lights at the dock area and
Yeah. And the
stuff.
the interesting thing about the hanging lights is it was used in more than one film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. It's just small things. Doesn't require thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's something that's there. Figure out how to frame it and how to light it and how to film it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that can add to your film. I was talking to somebody today when I was working at the hospital about photography. I'm not a professional photographer, but I've taken some really cool pictures of Skittles, my cat here,
Yeah.
because I know how to just frame it right to get a good shot and make it interesting. Do
Yeah.
the same thing with filmmaking.
It's really the same idea too.
Mhm. Yep. So, Brian, and I'll even say, Hayden Newman, both, did that with this. I do have one Blu-ray here that I'm not gonna name the film, but I am thinking about chucking it, and this was one that actually had, some named performers in it, and
Yeah.
I can't I'd be surprised if any of them were impressed with this, but it was a horrible fucking movie, and, I think I might have donated a little bit to it, and I'm friggin' ashamed. I felt dirty after watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad, and it was shot poorly. When you have somebody looking this way talking, you would think that the person they're talking to, because you could tell due to, the, pandemic, they weren't in the scene together.
Yeah.
But this
But yeah,
the
but
director
you have to edit that good to make it look like they were.
exactly. So, you got one person, say their head turning there and speaking. The other person should be looking in their direction. The other person's looking off this way, and it was so fucking distracting. The movie. Yeah, I still got that movie here. I gotta check it because it's just
Yeah.
that bad. And unfortunately, I saw this independent filmmaker at one of the cons I was at, and I didn't have the heart to tell him his movie sucked.
Yeah.
And I was going to have him on the show before I got the disc, and I'm like, no, I just nothing I can say about that's good.
Yeah. And I mean, but that's what Brian did with social distance. Is everybody was responsible for shooting their own scenes. Everybody was in charge of wardrobe. Everybody was in charge of everything on their end. And when they sent all this stuff to Brian, it was his job to edit it to make it look like they were all in one conference together.
And it looked
And
good.
yeah, yeah, it looked really good.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, that's not easy to pull off, because where everybody had to shoot their own scenes, you don't have a director on set. So like some of those people had to do several shots because they send it to Brian, and Brian would just say, "Oh, that was great, but let's tweak it a little bit," and then they had to do it again. So I mean, I praise all the actors for their time and patience because I'm pretty sure that it cut into their personal lives a lot, because they were filming a lot of it were filming at their own homes. So it's
Mhm.
yeah. So,
Well, it was a pleasure watching Vernon Wells in this movie
oh,
because,
he ate up the scenery. He
well,
was terrific.
it's not just that too. It's that he's not just sitting there or he's not just standing there. He's constantly looking, whether he's grabbing a stack of files or what have you. He's constantly not only in character, but he's doing more than just say dialogue. He is he's basically taken over the scene, and he's using everything in his surroundings to make his scene even more interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
I noticed that myself. Like even like the little like looks that he would give, or the little chuckles that he would do. I mean, everything was just perfect timing.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
and
I remember.
it was a pleasure to watch that. It really was.
Mhm. Now I remember. I know your first interview is about to go public on my YouTube channel,
Yeah,
and it's interesting because there was opinions of some projects that you were involved with that you're not involved with anymore.
yeah. So a lot has changed over the last year.
Mhm. Yeah.
And some of those projects, you can see my YouTube channel, and I pretty much go into detail how I got in the project and how I said no more. And like me and Greg have both said, but I'm not going to mention names. Anyone who's going to watch this interview will know the projects I'm referring to,
Well, there was some.
including the directors that don't want me to talk about this anymore.
Well, there was one project in particular that stands out, and I've had some laughs And again, I won't mention names, but some of the perks that were involved. Like, I'm sorry, do not tell people you're gonna have the Green Bay Packers in your movie when you're really talking out of your ass. You're not
Yeah,
gonna have Paul Rudd in your fucking movie.
yeah,
I mean, the guy was just in Ant-Man and Ghostbusters Afterlife. He's
yeah.
not going to do your fan film.
You you couldn't afford 5 seconds of his time.
Nope,
So, and
nope.
and I know what movie you're referring to, and all I'll say about that movie is never auction off your actresses ever as a perk.
Oh, talk about that.
Yeah,
Without
so
naming names,
no,
because that needs to be brought up
that
because that's dangerous.
that was actually the turning point of me being involved in this movie. Is the director is said we'll call him said. Um, he came to me with an idea, and he thought it was brilliant. And the first thing I said, that is dangerous. Oh no, it's gonna be monitored. Give me all these reassurances. We're gonna have somebody on there making sure that they're not crude or whatever. And then I said, well, okay, fine. But what happens when the online date is over? And he goes, what do you mean? Well, they know the person's name now. All you have to do is search Facebook, look for this person's name, and then you start harassing them again. How many times have we seen this in the world, Greg, where people are predators online? And I'm thinking to myself, this has to be the stupidest idea ever to promote your film. Basically, you're asking them to be prostitutes, to pretend they like this guy who wins, who says, "Oh, I'm going to spend $100 or whatever." I can't even remember what. I think it was $100 to start. I'm going to spend $100 so I can talk to this girl for 60 minutes. And we all know that there was a very, very attractive girl crew in that movie. There was three girls in particular that all three have were telling me we don't want to be part of this. And what does he do? No, four people. Sorry, four people. And what does he do? He says, well, everybody has to be involved, including the guys. So I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not going to be involved in that. Like, and then all these girls are coming to me because they're going to him and he's not listening. I'm the executive producer. Oh no, I was sorry. I was co-director of that movie. Rob, we need your help. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, I'll talk to Michael. Michael's like, no, 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 I'm doing it. I was like, oh, so what am I here for then? Like, is it just a title? Like, this is you gave me the power to make decisions. I say no. And there was other people involved, other directors of name that were also on my favor. Like, no, we don't feel comfortable with that. So you have executive producers, you have co-directors, you have associates, you have your cast and crew all saying we don't want to be part of this. And what's he do? He puts it on the Indiegogo. So I said, if you don't take this down in 3 days, I said you have 3 days to take this down. On the fourth day, I walk,
Hmm.
and I said I will bring this movie down. Oh, you can't do that. I'll sue you. I was like, I don't care. Sue me because, and we all know that story. I got a fake cease and desist letter from this. Uh,
You're not
uh,
the only
uh,
one.
yeah, and
um,
I can tell.
uh, I mean, I think Amy Crabtree got one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that go on one. But the reason I know it was fake because no, mine wasn't as bad as Scotty had one.
Oh, Scotty
And
McCoy, yeah.
Scotty, he had like 7 spelling errors on his. Mine mine was just worded poorly. You cannot call this director, these names, the director of the Halloween movie, and I'm sitting there going, I didn't call John Carpenter anything. It never said Halloween. It said the Halloween movie. So I'm sitting there going, no lawyer is gonna uh, type like this. There's no lawyer that's gonna leave out crucial parts like fan film. I mean, it was just ridiculous, and I could go on and on about this guy, about the stupid decisions he made, and the last thing I'll say about this jerk off is I mentioned earlier that there's a movie that's still in limbo. Well, that's the movie because there's I went through the whole cast and crew of the newly revamped 2023 release. There's only one name that is still on the crew part, and only one name on the cast part that is from the original cast and crew. So
Well, I had nothing against the guy. I had him on the show. I had a nice interview with him. Things got a little weird after that. I'm certainly not going to talk wrestling with him because he doesn't know fuck all about the history of wrestling. That I can. That was initially where I cut myself off from him right there.
yeah,
But and anyway, I mean, I wish him well. But here's one thing I will say: you can't make money off a Halloween fan film. And I'm talking about Michael Myers. This is one
yeah,
thing I don't get. It's like, why not? Like Hayden Newman made Reunion from Hell. He can make all the money he wants off of that movie because it's his idea. Social distance. Brian can make all the money he wants to off it because this is his idea.
yeah,
There's nothing in there that is Vernon Wells is not in there playing the guy from Road Warrior. He's playing a
yeah,
different character. So I don't understand why people I get it. They latch onto these proven properties, but you're not going to make any money at it. You can't.
yeah,
And one
yeah,
thing that come to my attention about the Halloween project is the person thought he was going to be able to screen it.
yeah.
You can't make money off it. You could be
And
sued.
oh, and I said that in my video about it too. I named off all the things that he did wrong and all the things that he thinks he can do, and that was one of them. Like you can't make money. I'm pretty sure. Um, who owns Halloween now? Is it Dimension or no? Not Dimension. Well, whoever
Blumhouse.
Blumhouse. I'm pretty sure Blumhouse is not going to be threatened by his project, but if word gets out that it's playing at a theater somewhere, you don't think they're gonna like sick the lawyers on there? Hell, we can't even use 5 seconds of a song on YouTube without getting blocked. You think that the Blumhouse people are gonna sit there and let a whole movie about Michael Myers come out, even though it's a fan film? They're gonna say, "Yeah, you need to toss over some money now for
Yeah.
using our intellectual property." And trust me, for anyone who's listening to this, I am not downing fan films. I love fan films. I just think that sometimes we get in so deep with these projects that we think, oh wow, we look at all the money we raised. Now we can send all our perks out, which that's what it's for. The money is for all the perks that people uh, gave to your film to make it possible for you to use. But then I think we somewhere along the line, some of these directors get this idea like, oh, if we can make so much more money, then we could put it in a theater. It's like, no, you can't. It's I don't know how many ways to describe it. It's like you can't use someone else's property. Like you can't even pay actors to be part of this. Every fan film has to be all uh, basically time and time, and that's it. You can't pay people to be there. I mean, we both know a lot of people who are involved in fan films, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Mhm.
But these directors get this big perception of this movie, like it's going to be an Academy Award winning, uh, move over, Keanu Reeves. We got the new action movie. We got the new horror movie on the scene. But you have to realize that why people get involved in fan films is because supposedly they love them, and
Mhm.
that's the key. Stick to your love. Don't go crazy after this. Stick to why you're doing it, because fan films and independent films are fans making movies for fans, because the fans know what we want, not Hollywood anymore. Hollywood will put out a good movie here and there, but I think I'd rather sit down and watch a whole bunch of independent and fan films sometimes than a couple horror movies, Hollywood horror movies, because we know what we want. Like everybody loved Vengeance. Everybody loved uh, Never Hike Alone. Everybody loved Social Distance. It's like these are the reason we love them is because we know what people want, and Hollywood doesn't.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and, another thing too, don't put out perks that you can't afford to do. Like, one of the ones I I know you were laughing about this was, the Christmas ornament and, the M&Ms. Michael Myers
Yeah,
melt in your mouth.
yeah, but there was also kind of a dirtiness to that too, because um, the first of the M&Ms was actually going to be one of his female leads, and
Oh, wow, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yes, and guys were already starting, and I told Mike, I let his name out. I told him that people were already making perverted comments like, "Oh yeah, she's gonna melt in my mouth," and I'm like, "This is what I mean about the damn perk about dating. We're talking about a fucking M&M, and guys are already lusting over it. You don't think they're gonna go worse when they get to interact with the same girl for 60 minutes?" And I know, and I'm cool about talking about her because she's actually uh came on a podcast maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and she finally like admitted everything that went on in that film.
Mhm.
And I messaged her. I was like, that was very brave, because I said this in my very last YouTube video. I do feel sorry for a lot of the women in this industry, because they're afraid to stand up for themselves, because they feel like if I stand up, I'm gonna get blackballed. And that's where I come in. I'm the devil's messenger, because I don't care what happens to me. I'm not involved in the independent scene like our last interview last year. I still do promoting. I still help other people spread the word. I even have a networking group now, Terra 81 Promotions.
Mhm.
But but as far as doing promoting for individual films, I do one right now. And we talked about that one, the horror we make. That's the only one I'm involved in right now. And I'm keeping it to the point where I need to know who you are to be involved in your film, because like others, I've been screwed over, I've been burned, and my record got tarnished for a while because people are like, well, you've been involved in 3 projects that just all folded. Like,
Mhm.
and I went on video to say why they were folded, but it still looks bad because my name was handprinted on that. So now I need to know who you are. Even like new people will still reach out to me through IMDb. I'll get messages. Hey, here's my movie project, blah blah blah. Here, and I'll message them back. I'm like, can you send me some more, so I can look into details, like who you have in it, where your money's going. I do like a whole investigating now before I even commit to anything now.
You kinda got to too,
Yeah.
Um, when films are done well, they when they're done well, they what word am I looking for? I'm kind of lost on that, but I think that what I've done, like I described with Reunion from Hell and Social Distance, those are two that I was quite pleased with. On a lesser scale, holy shit, man, the budget was not impressive. I got to admit, the idea was pretty funny, so
Yeah,
I did have a good laugh at that, so I was happy
and
about it. Yep,
holy shipment also had a DVD release.
and a Blu-ray
Just had
release.
Yeah, just had to throw that in there.
Oh yeah, I had a Blu-ray. I got the Blu-ray. That's not the one that I'm gonna chuck, mind you. Holy shit, man, I have a good laugh at, you know,
Yeah.
and the people behind that film were quite cool, so
Well,
you
I
know.
was just thinking about a movie that we're both involved in that is finally getting some traction. Is Victim No More? I know.
Absolutely.
Yes, I noticed that Bobby Heckman has an IMDb page now, and I've noticed that several familiar names have got credits in there so far. So
Oh gee, I gotta look that up. I didn't look that up.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
he has an IMDb page now. So,
I need to look that up.
but I think he's still hiding the secret though, because I didn't see the secret's name there. Shh.
Yeah, I haven't given away anything as far as because I did sign. That was an NDA that I did sign. That was an
Yeah,
NDA that deserved to be signed, you know?
yeah, not like chat rooms or anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, Jill Whitlow I knew was going to be in it. I have not ever had her on here yet.
maybe we you need to reach out there because what's the old AT&T saying? Reach out and touch someone. Of course, today's era, people would take that differently.
Yeah, she's the only one announced. That of name caliber, you know.
Yeah,
But I mentioned Jill Whitlow before because Jill was already somebody that Bobby Heckman had mentioned. Um, wow. Yeah, I see my name on there. Noelle Berger was involved in this movie. Okay. In your name, you're an associate producer. Jimmy Presley, associate producer. Okay. All right.
yep. The former Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
mhm.
I have nothing bad to say about any of them. Like I know they're both still going strong. I know I just saw Noelle was announced in a movie recently. Can't remember the name of it offhand. And so like I'm proud of her. I told her like social distance when I saw that movie.
She was
She
great.
she yeah, she looked like a true professional. Like
Mhm.
that second scene when she was tearing up about the other girl dying, she had me crying. I was convinced that she was really upset. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, Noelle's one of the good ones.
yeah.
Yep. Anyway, but yeah, you mentioned going back to the female thing. That's another thing I notice is becoming an issue with some of these crowdfunding projects. Um,
Women are being victimized, and not enough people are standing up right now.
well, I don't want to beat a dead horse on somebody that you were referring to earlier, but wasn't there supposed to be an audition where the female was supposed to make out with him?
Oh well, yeah. We're back to that movie. Yes, there was a scene when he was supposed to have intercourse with one of the very attractive females. And when this particular female decided to pull out of the project, he was sending a partial video. Like I don't know if it was an audition, but it was a very short video, and you can see like not not nudity, but you could see more than you should be seeing and sending your friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I only got word of that because someone had messaged me saying that Michael's really pissed. I already said it once, so I don't care now. That he's really pissed and he's sending out this video to people. And I did see the video, and I was like, that's totally disgusting. Like, um, back to as far as the other women in this industry being victimized, and I said it once before, and I'll say it again, that I feel bad because I feel like women are being victimized and they're afraid to come out because they don't want to be that person to say, oh, this person does this and this person does that, because I think they feel like they're going to ruin their chances. And this came actually from the girl that he released that video. She even said, I was afraid to come out because I'm a new actress, and I don't want to look like, oh, this is my first movie, and I'm already making waves. She goes, I felt like I wasn't gonna get another part, but she thanked people like me and thanked people like Amy Crabtree for bringing this to the forefront and making it feel like it's okay to say something now, because it was being spread through the community that not just this guy, but there was other men along the way that were doing the same things. They would hire these attractive girls not for their talent. They would hire them hoping they had talent, but they all they had is one thing in mind. And I feel bad because there's only so much I can do on a computer screen. I can bring attention to videos, but if people aren't willing to help and stand up alongside of me, there's only so much spreading I can do. Just like my latest video when I talked about another gentleman who's married, by the way. Uh, there's at least 10 people out there that he's been wanting phone sex with sexting. And yes, his wife has found out too. So,
Wow.
yeah, and that's what my latest video was about, is this gentleman. And I'm not so mad at him anymore because he's been caught. But the people who still support him, the people who are still hiring him, oh, they're saying, "Oh, my hands are tied because this is a production company. This isn't just me." And then all I said was on my videos, like, "Do you have to stay part of the production company?" This person I was referring to already had a name in the industry before joining this production company. So, don't you think, hey, maybe I don't want to be part of these guys because they're not going to stand up for these women? Do you really have to keep this production company together because you want to make money? And I used the Mr. Miyagi quote, never choose passion before principle, because if you win, even if you win, you lose. I chose that, and everybody kept praising me because, like, that is the perfect example of what Mr. Miyagi was referring to. Not just Daniel trying to get ahead in the world; he was using it for life. And that's, these women, they have families, they have kids, they have their careers, and they can't be worried about, oh, I wonder if this director I'm going to get involved with now is just like the last one. They shouldn't have to worry about that.
It's interesting you mentioned that because the film that I'm thinking about, Tossing, um,
Yeah.
so much potential was there, and it turned out poorly. And but there was several scenes of this guy wearing a black either ski mask or leather mask, and he had this woman tied to the bed naked, and he was, like, raping her, and it would linger and linger and linger, and he'd be doing everything, and I'm sitting there thinking, "Man, why so long?" And
Yeah,
sometimes I wonder if some of these people get into this just to do that.
yeah. I think so too because I've heard those stories over and over again, and some of them I wasn't even involved in, and but because I have a lot of connections, I get sometimes those stories about another movie that I'm not involved in. About I've heard people getting beat on the set, people getting sexually harassed after the scenes are over because of what scene they were just doing, and it really disgusts me because I've always put independent movies on a higher pedestal than Hollywood. You hear about these things in Hollywood going on all the time, Harvey Weinstein, and you hear about that, but they think they can get away with it because of their high-priced lawyers. Independent filmmakers and fan filmmakers, we're just common people. And I think sometimes we get, like I think I mentioned earlier, we get lost in this illusion that we're doing something bigger than Hollywood, and we're not. We're supposed to be making a movie for people like ourselves who know what we want, and that's it. That's where it cuts off. It's not supposed to be about what your lust is and what your cravings are. It's supposed to be about a movie, whether it's a fan film about Friday the 13th or an original thing like Social Distance, or even the guys over at um with Michael McGlynn's there, like Go Away, another original idea. It's like, can't we just make a movie without any like backward drama, backstage harassing? Let's just go out and make movies and show Hollywood that this is how you're supposed to have a production. Because now we're just trying to repeat what's going on in Hollywood.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I had to scale back. I get asked a lot to join these projects, and I just can't anymore. And I see so many of them fail that, I don't want involved. Um,
Well, that's a good point you just said. All these projects have these potentials, and then they end up falling apart. This is what happens in the horror community now. We stop trusting now. We're like, oh well, the last couple projects I was involved in were either really terrible movies or movies that never got made at all. So now, as an investor, say I'm just a regular John Q. I come along and I see the, oh, I don't know, it really looks good, but now they're saying but because the last two or three movies they were involved in were either shit or it didn't get released at all. And a lot of these people aren't getting refunded. There are movies I've heard that people have gotten refunded, but a lot of these have not. And that one particular movie we keep coming back to, I can tell you right now, it's probably never going to get made. And anyone who invested in it has already lost their money because it's already way past the date to get your money back. So my advice to anyone that's getting involved, and if for the first time or the 20th time, do your research. Look into these people. Look who they have involved in the film. Look at their cast, their crew. Find out everything you can about the Indiegogo. Do they have a list of things that they're going to spend this money on? Like let's say they have a goal of $8,000. Every good Indiegogo should have a list of things that they're spending that $8,000 for. So much for lighting, so much for food, so much for a location. Find out everything you can before you dip into your wallet, because I guarantee if you don't, you're losing your money. That's my advice to people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, on a lighter note, what projects are you currently involved in? I know you mentioned um, the one with Reggie Bannister, but what other
Yeah,
projects?
I'm not promoting anything, but I will still spread the word for other movies. CJ Vecchio has a movie called The Evil Three, and
Okay.
it's a fan film. It's a battle between Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface. So, and I know a couple of people that are involved that have very good reputations. So I feel, and CJ has a very good reputation as well. Uh, Amy Crabtree is like the head promoter on that one.
Hmm.
Jamie Apple has a movie called "It Came from Somewhere." It's a kickback to the old school monster movies, the
That's right.
50s.
I
Yeah,
just had four people from that on my show
yeah,
last night. Did you
yeah.
see that post?
No, I didn't, but I was I've been looking at a lot of their posts, and I'm really impressed. And it's good to see someone paying homage to like the original, like the Frankensteins of the world, and it's good because it's refreshing. It's I love Jason, I love Leatherface, I love Michael, I love Freddy, but there's so much you can only do with these movies, and they're coming up in bunches now. And it's
Well,
good to see someone like Jamie Apple say, I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm gonna show an old school monster movie.
that's not all he's doing though.
No, I know.
They're making an homage to Ed Wood and Roger Corman.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I had four of them from that film. On the teaser trailer looks phenomenal. I hope the
Yes.
movie looks as good as the teaser trailer because it has that cheese factor to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that works. And there's a lot of people that do that too, like trauma movies, for example. You
Yeah.
know, Genevieve Rossi went out and she made Attack of the Killer Chickens. I haven't seen it. I know she's done it, but a lot of people go that route too because
Yeah.
there's a lot of creativity given the right people you get to work on the film that are able to pump something out um, with the project and make it beyond the budget.
Yeah. And the only other things I'm promoting right now is the podcast network I'm involved with is Rabbit and Red Radio. We just
Hmm.
released well on our website rabbitandredradio.com. We actually have a link to a television station now. You can actually watch some of the old podcasts, and we have some obscure horror movies that are playing. We just showed Terror in the Isles on our
I've got
television.
that here. I've got that here.
Yeah,
It came with my Halloween 2 Blu-ray, but
yeah,
yeah, I discovered a lot of movies through Terror in the Isles.
yes.
Yeah.
So, so that's like one of the things, and we have a Patreon now too. So if you click on rabbitandredradio.com, there's a Patreon button that you can get exclusive content. We have two tiers. We have the $5 tier, which you get pretty much everything, and then we have the $2 tier, which you get most things. The only thing that you don't get with this five is the $5. You get we're gonna have votings on like what subject you want us to talk about next. We're gonna give you a choice to pick your own podcasters, anyone from the network. So you could have three people from three different shows do your topic. So it's gonna make for a lot of fun because a lot of us haven't worked together before. So it'd be interesting to see how we all mesh.
You see
So
any horror movies this year, like in the theater, that you liked? I know
I
from,
saw
yeah,
I saw Scream. I saw Scream at the theater. Um, what's the other one I saw? Well, it wasn't a horror movie, but I saw the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
guess Ghostbusters does have some kind of horror element, but it's not obviously it's not horror.
Well, the best ones I've seen this year in terms of horror, X I loved.
Yeah,
Went to that 4 times, loved X, and Black Phone was really good.
yeah. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on Black Phone. People say they either love it or they don't like it at all. So
Oh, I
there's
enjoyed
no,
it.
yeah, there's nobody saying like it's okay. Like no one's meeting in the middle. So
But I think X is my favorite film of the year so far anyway. So I'm looking
yeah,
forward to the prequel, Pearl, coming out. One of the things I loved about X is that the final girl broke all the rules that were laid out in Scream. She
yeah.
broke every single one of them and still survived. And like, okay, okay.
Well, I did see another movie, but it was actually celebrating its 40th anniversary. I got to see in the big screen was The Thing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, that was great seeing it on the big screen. A young Kurt Russell. That movie is still holds up today. I think next month they're playing Poltergeist, so I'm gonna have to
Poltergeist,
go.
yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna have to go see that one.
You know what? I love seeing older movies on the big screen. I try to go to them anytime the opportunity presents.
Yeah,
In Toronto, in particular, when I go there, I try to attend some older films at the theaters there, and so that's always fun.
nice.
Yeah, I'm doing Horrorama this fall. I'm assisting Lisa Langlois for the second time at this convention, and then I'm going to do Frightmare in the Falls.
Nice.
Tom Matthews is scheduled to be at both, so I'm like, okay, I'll go meet him at both. That
Yeah.
way, it's a good networking.
Oh, you'll have a very nice discussion about a certain movie too.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And have you attended any cons this year?
No, I was gonna try to go to Boston Comic Con just because old Bill Shatner was supposed to attend, and I don't know how much longer he's gonna be doing these conventions because he's getting up there.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah. And I think the guy who played Data and was gonna be there, and Jonathan Frakes is gonna be there too. So I'm a minor Trekkie. I'm not one of those that dresses up head to toe as Vulcan or as Jem'Hadar, but I follow Star Trek, and I've always wanted to meet these guys. I love Shatner. I think Captain Kirk has to be the coolest captain ever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there any
Yeah,
other things that you want to plug and discuss on here before we
yeah,
close off? Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna plug my actual podcast. It's
Yep.
called Living in the Past. You've been a special caller before.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. I
we
struggled to
talk.
get on there, mind you,
Yeah,
due to the connection, but
yeah.
that was fun. Yep.
So for anybody, your listeners, we talk about the past growing up as a 70s and 80s child. This week's episode, which is Wednesday, is a particular topic that you might be interested in. 70s and 80s wrestling territories. So,
Oh,
yeah. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, because me and Paul are from different walks of life as far as wrestling. He had a lot of his childhood down the south, so he had a lot of the NWA, the Georgia, and all that, and I had more of the up north. I had AWA and WWF, and I even I watched a lot of WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, from Texas. We had a station that actually carried the Texas wrestling, so I got to grow up with the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and Gentleman Chris Adams and Iceman King Parsons, Kamala, like that. Those were the fun days of wrestling, and this is going to be a fun show. For anyone who's a wrestling fanatic like me and Greg here, you're gonna relive a lot of cool memories on this one. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No, that I love old school wrestling. And definitely 70s and 80s for me, and not although I think the women's division is great now.
yes.
Hands down, I think Charlotte Flair is great, but
Well, what I'll say about wrestling today is actually in the last 3 weeks it's got a lot better because the old man Vince finally called it a career, and there's already a big shift in wrestling since then. In 4 weeks, Triple H has done wonders already. And the women's division is coming back, and I guarantee that's a lot of Stephanie because Stephanie is the one that brought in like these wrestlers like Charlotte and Bailey and Paige and to spice up wrestling again because I don't get me wrong. I loved some of the 90s. I loved Lita and I loved Trish Stratus, but it was starting to become a sideshow where like the bra and panties matches and the you pull like the girls were taking off their shirts. It was a big exploration of women, and we're getting back to that old school mentality where let's just fight. Forget about these crazy storylines of who has bigger boobs and like who can dance better. Like, let's get back. This is wrestling. This ain't about. And there's rumors now. I don't know how true these are. There's rumors that Triple H is trying to get the F back instead of the E. He's trying to work out a deal with the Wildlife Federation to bring back the because he goes, I want this wrestling again. I don't want it in entertainment.
yep, I agree.
So it's become fun again. Like I'm actually watching every week again, and I haven't done that in years. Every week because every week he's bringing back someone that Vince said, "Oh, that guy's not going to go anywhere." He's bringing guys like that back.
Well, Vince wants people that are on steroids, and a lot of them do not put on a good match. I like
Yeah,
people that can do several moves, and actually you actually feel like they're selling, I often said, I prefer Ricky Steamboat over Hulk Hogan. There's a reason for that. Steamboat was
yeah,
a far better wrestler.
yes. And Steamboat, yeah, he knew how to sell. Also, when he had that match with Macho Man, that to me that is still one of the best wrestling clinics from start to end that I've ever seen. I don't think anyone's ever gonna. That's my opinion. No one's gonna ever match that match.
Nope, I agree. That was a terrific match. Terrific match. Anything else you want to plug and promote on here?
Uh, no, just keep watching Python's Paradise, guys, because this man here, he will make you famous.
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't know
besides the
about that.
you didn't make me, you didn't make the Bruins guy, but
You made the Bruins guy. You
yeah.
were in the right place at the right time, and wearing the
Oh,
Bruins shirt.
can I give a quick story?
Sure, go ahead.
So I just started my new job, and I'm
Hmm.
loving like you. I started a new job. I was doing counters the other day, like filling up the candy bars and all that, and I see this girl looking at me, and first she's like, "Oh, you're the guy from TikTok, right?" Because I have 2,000 followers on TikTok. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You follow me?" She goes, "Oh, I think the videos are great." Her boyfriend comes in, and he's decked out in Bruin stuff. He looks at me and he's like, "Hey, it's the Bruins guy." And she's like, "Who?" It's like, she knew me from TikTok and he knew me from the Bruins guy.
Well, that's what I like to call you, the Bruins guy,
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so anybody watching this, Google search Mayor Walsh Bruins guy if you want a good chuckle. So,
There you go. Well, folks, Rob Mahoney, check out his IMDb. He's involved in several projects. Social Distance, of course, rebranded as Seventh Revelation. Check that out. That definitely didn't disappoint me. And he's got several other projects as well, so we
And
definitely,
YouTube, look
yeah,
up
you're
Father Mahoney.
Father Mahoney, that's right. And he definitely has your back when oppression seems to be going against you.
Yep.
I still can't figure out, though, why a particular actress text your name to Carrie Yates. I'll never figure that one out. Even Carrie Yates is like, what was that all about? But
Maybe she wants to date me. I don't know.
yeah, I think I'll pass on that.
Me too.
She already made a bad enough impression on me. So there you go. Well, for we don't have anything else to plug and promote. Um, I will bid you a good night. You got everything. You got everything out you need to talk about here.
Also, anyone who's in the indie community who wants to get their name spread, go to Facebook, Terra81 Promotions. There's a lot of directors, other actors, crew members, all looking to kind of network. And so if you're trying to spread your name, it's a good place to do it. We usually always have at least once a week. We do like drop your IMDb. So when people drop it, they can look at who else dropped, and then maybe you'll make a connection. Not a love connection, but a connection.
Yeah, we leave the love connections up to some of the crowdfundings that are doing warped and dating perks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must take a lot to do a crowdfunding, but I think a
It's
lot of
demand.
time,
It's it's demanding. It's demanding. I will give a lot of directors because you always have to update people. You always have to make sure that the 13% you're at right now might be 15% in an hour or so. So it does take a lot of your time away from it. But I think sometimes that's where the pressure gets to people. And
hmm
instead of like for me, my advice to a lot of these directors, get somebody else to do that. Get somebody else to watch the campaign while you're trying to like update the your investors. Because I was doing that for a while for a certain cunt, some guy like that. I was doing that for him for a while, where I was the one that was checking the updates, and he was the one that was plugging the movies. To do that, get somebody to watch your crowdfunder for you. That way, you don't have to have so much pressure. Delegate it.
Yeah. And of course, with that, folks, check out Rabbit and Red. It's a Rabbit. It's not Rabbit and Red Radio, is it? It's a
Yes.
podcast. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep. And of course, Father Mahoney on YouTube. And absolutely. And of course, he'll have your back if you need the help.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was great having you on again tonight. And yeah, next year, I'll put you on the roster again, and we'll do this again.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm wait till next year. Is like, oh, I'm not involved with this project.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah. Remember what I said about that guy last year, though?
yeah, I don't know. I try my best to stay out of those.
but
But
but that's why
my
that my
recommendation is make your movie.
yeah.
That's where you'll make your impression.
I think that's why I'm keeping my plate smaller now because less of a chance to have more than one project to go in down in drains.
There you go. There you go. And with that said, I'm going to bid the Bruins guy, aka Father Mahoney, a good night. Keep promoting and keep the love for indie horror alive.
And I'm gonna do my Larry Zabisco.
Yeah, I
He used
had
to
him
always
on here.
he
Yeah.
used to always do that on his show when the show was over.
Yeah, I had him on here back, I think it was March. That was a lot of fun.
So
Anyway,
thank you, Greg.
oh, absolutely, it was a pleasure, and, we'll be in touch.
All right, man.
Alright, God bless you. Take care at work tomorrow.
I will.
Alright.
You
Later,
too.
man.
Bye.
Yep, bye.